A lot of players in any MMO are scared to heal. Well, do not worry because today I'm doing my healer guide, so strap in and let's get started. In FF14, your priority as a healer is to, well, heal. But more than that, you should also be doing damage. That's right, your 2-button damage rotation can be the difference between a 1% wipe or a clear. So you have to heal effectively and dish out damage. You do this through managing your cooldowns, and if you're in a raid environment, that is very important. Cooldowns like Liturgy of the Bell or Seraph are very strong and should be used when big damage is either coming or has already happened. Which brings me to my first topic, the difference between a shield healer and a pure healer. There are two types of healers in this game. You have your White Mage and Astrologians. These are going to be your pure healers, meaning they do more healing. Now, shield healers are scholars and sages. They focus more on mitigation and shields while having less pure healing than their counterparts. For most raid environments, you're going to be going in with one pure healer and one shield healer, although I've seen some comps with some differences, but that's okay. In dungeon scenarios, I found it really doesn't matter as you only have one healer and 3 others. So to sum it up, with pure healers, you have a more focused traditional style of healing, but with shield healers, you're more focused on mitigating big damage, raid wides, and tank busters. No matter which healer you pick, you're mostly doing the same thing. So let's talk about some of the parts of the healing kit. You have your basic heals such as your cures for White Mage and benefits for Astrologians. You'll use these for those direct healing scenarios. Someone gets hit by a mechanic, more commonly used in dungeon scenarios where you're the only healer. Then you have your OGCD abilities such as Lustrate for Scholars or Tetragrammaton for White Mages. These are good for keeping your damage up or for emergency scenarios. In general, try not to sit on these. Try to use them as often as you can to keep your damage up. And you have your AoE heals like Medica for White Mages. You use these for raid wides or situations where multiple party members have taken damage. If the AoE heal you're using has a cast timer, try to start that cast before the raid wide goes off, but to where it will still go off after that raid wide. You then have your heal over time effects like regen for White Mages. You'll want to use these to help mitigate auto attacks on your tanks. Then there are shield abilities like Succor. Try to put these on your party members before big damage goes off. In fact, a lot of healing is just knowing the fights. It's important to know when big hits are coming so you can heal quickly and get back to damaging the enemy. Now for damage, all healers have a dot. Keep this up 100% of the time, as well as a few damage abilities such as Glare or Dosis. I won't go too in depth as this is more of a general healing guide. So to the video, I will have a link to the Balance website where you can find all the job specific information you would need. Okay, so let's go into the healer specific abilities. First up is Repose, which puts your target to sleep for 30 seconds. Prior to Criterion dungeons, there would be little use for this. However, now with these dungeons, there is some actual use to this. If there is a mob you don't want to fight, put it to sleep. Don't hit it, and that's 30 seconds. You do not have to deal with it. Next up is Asuna. This is going to be your Dispel with a very short cast time. This will remove one detrimental effect off of a party member. Often you'll see debuffs on your party members during dungeons. One example is Doom. This also happens during some raid encounters as well. Don't skip over the spell. It's really important. My best advice is if you're not sure if something can be dispelled, just cast it anyways. Never hurts. Next up is Lucid Dreaming. With a 60-second recast, this will restore MP for 21 seconds. Because your whole kit revolves around MP, you're going to want to use this when you're below 8,000 MP. So just keep an eye on it. You're basically going to be casting this on cooldown. Next up is Swift Cast with a 60-second cooldown. You'll use this to instantly cast any spell in your kit. Typically, you want to use this in conjunction with your Resurrection spell to instantly res any party member. But for scenarios where maybe you're re-clearing or you have a really good team and you're feeling really confident, you can use it to help maximize your damage output. Next up is Surecast. This is going to be your knockback resistance with a 120-second cooldown. It also prevents your spells from being interrupted. And lastly, we have Rescue. This is one of the best abilities in the game. It is so easy to mess with people. Rescue has a 120-second cooldown and will pull any selected party member towards you during combat. The implications of this are obvious, but if you don't want a clown on your team, you can use this spell to, well, rescue your party members. Say someone messed up mechanic or positioning, or your black mage just doesn't want to move. Simply hit rescue and yeet them towards you. Now I want to take a brief moment to invite you to like the video if you are enjoying it. Liking helps me out in the algorithm and lets me know I'm doing a good job. Thanks for that. Now back to the video. So with all the abilities down, how do we apply all this to the game? Well, like I said, healing effectively takes a lot of knowledge of the encounter. Whether it's a dungeon or a raid fight, it's important to take note of what certain abilities are called and plan accordingly. Now, there are times where things don't go to plan. There are times where maybe someone messes up a mechanic or someone dies. It's in scenarios like this that you prioritize keeping people who are already alive alive, and using swift cast to resurrect party members that are dead. Only resurrect people when the people in your party are topped off, as taking time to rest someone can inadvertently cause a wipe. You know, maybe someone's on top buffalo away and the rape wipe happens. That's going to be a wipe. Healing in FF14 is all about knowledge. It's knowing your kit, knowing the fights, and knowing when to adapt. And yes, you could say the same thing about the other roles, but I feel like it's doubly important for the healers. Knowing when damage is coming will lead you to your ultimate goal as a healer, which is DPS. That's right. As a healer, you're essentially just another DPS. I've been saying this since the beginning of the video. Your damage as a healer can be the difference between a 1% wipe or a kill. And this isn't just the case in FF14. In fact, most role-based MMOs follow this rule that if you don't have anything to heal, you are damaging the boss. Now, what other things are important for healing? Well, your UI setup is definitely important. Think, when you're healing, what is your priority? What are you mostly looking at besides your character? You're looking at your party. So I recommend setting your party frames toward the middle of your screen. Another thing is slide casting. Most players are familiar with it, so I'll be brief. Slide casting is a brief window of time where you can move while casting your abilities. This is towards the end of the cast, and the benefit to this is being able to move without losing uptime. Like with every job in the game, healers all follow the rule, always be casting. Other than that, we're right at the finish line. The last thing I want to mention is overhealing, which is exactly what it sounds like. Overhealing is the healing you do after someone is already topped off. Try to limit this. Like I have repeated so many times in this video, you want to use that time when people are topped off to DPS. So to summarize, there are two types of healers. There are shield healers and pure healers. Shield healers have mitigation focus, while pure healers have a healing focus. No matter which one you're using, it's important to know your kit and the encounter you're doing. Knowing the encounter will allow you to maximize your damage output. Be sure to use every ability in your kit, and do not forget to spell with Asuna. Save split cast for resurrection. Unless you're confident in the encounter, be sure to keep an eye on lucid dreaming to make sure you're not running low on MP. Move your party frames towards the middle of your screen so you don't have to look far away from your character. Practice slide casting, and remember, always be casting. And with all of that, I have reached the end of the video. Be sure to subscribe if you have enjoyed. As always, I have links to the balance in the description. Also, if you're interested in tanking, I will link my tank guide in the description. Go and watch that as well. Ignore the microphone. That's using my old mic, but hey, you know, the content's still there. Thank you so much for watching, and take care.